Hey UConn Nation, it's KK Arnold here. If you're looking for the latest UConn women's basketball content, go subscribe to Listen Up to Phil and Ryan. Go Huskies!
That's Ryan Runner. I'm Phil Vassar, and we're back on Listen Up. Ryan, with the regular season put away in the bottle, smash it up. No, I'm kidding. Just don't smash it up. Put the lid on it. The Big East tournament right around the corner. We figured at 12 o'clock on this Tuesday, March the 4th, we would dive on into a topic that's being heavily discussed around the UConn community. How important is Azzi Fudd's return to UConn next season? Is it critical or not critical? Will she go into the WNBA draft? Will she not go into the draft? In my opinion, Ryan, I think, and here we go. It's like I'm jumping on the Paige Becker's train again, right? Now I'm jumping on the Azzi Fudd train. I ask you and everybody else to comment away, like, comment, and subscribe today. How important is it that she returns to UConn? In my opinion, I'm going to say very important.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. As I said before, I think AZ coming back for another year would greatly benefit her, and not only her, but the team as a whole. But I think just for AZ, when you just look at her as the player, I think it would really benefit her to come back for a fifth and final year. And she said on senior day, quote, "We'll see about the fifth year, but I'm so grateful for the time I've had." But I'm honestly surprised that she didn't announce her decision last Sunday like Paige did last year during senior day. So maybe that's bad news, maybe it's good news, I'm not sure. But, I would think if she already knew she was coming back, maybe she would have announced it. So I'm honestly not sure. But, this decision is obviously very important. I'm sure she's taken a lot of time to think about it with maybe the coaches, but I'm sure definitely her family, to make this very important decision. But I think if she does decide to go, she will be drafted with one of the last picks in the first round. But, if you look at her career at UConn, it would technically be her fifth season if she comes back, but she's never actually played a complete season. Every single year, she's been injured for some period of time. And last year, she only played 2 games, which is why she has the option to return for the fifth year. And the year before, she only played 15, her sophomore year before that. So it's been a rough, bumpy ride for Azzi Fudd. And I think another reason why she should stay is because she would be the leader for the Huskies with Paige, Aubrey, and Caitlin leaving. Azzi would be the veteran on this team, the only senior alongside Caroline Ducharme. But I will say, if Azzi decides to go, UConn might have to go out in the transfer portal and pick up a veteran guard who can score. I mean, if you look at the depth chart, if Azzi leaves, you have KK and Ashlyn. Now, obviously, we know they'll be great options next year. They're going to have huge roles, possibly both of them being in the starting lineup. But you go further down, there's Caden Samuels, who's barely played, especially this season. Morgan Shelley and Ali Zabel, who have little experience, and Morgan will be coming off the injury next season. So, I think maybe UConn needs Azzi to stay more than Azzi needs to stay at UConn, and perhaps that's why Azzi Fudd decides to leave and prepare for her professional career.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. Your durability, how reliable you are. Now, again, things can swing either way, right? You can say, well, she can go out and prove herself this upcoming season and stay healthy, to prove to other WNBA teams, hey, I have what it takes, or she maybe does not have to do that and still maybe has that misfortune, right? Misfortune in the WNBA and gets injured again. Now, we hope not. Now, obviously, we want everybody to stay healthy, but what I'm trying to tell you is, Ryan, UConn Huskies fans, even you might not want to hear this. Sometimes, kind of, sort of, the way I'm thinking now, you go out on that court to prove yourself individually at times. That's just the way it is, right? We got to look out for ourselves sometimes. So I think Azzi Fudd is looking out for herself, in my opinion, on this take. And this is according to ESPN. The 5'11" guard and number one overall recruit out of high school has dealt with injuries throughout her UConn career, Ryan, like you pointed out. And these numbers were brought out on March the 1st. So any games after that not in this article. But Ryan, she's averaging about 12 points per game with 45.9% clip from the 3-point arc in 24 games this season. So Ryan, again, and then that 28-point outing, against number 4 South Carolina in February. It's a team sport. I get it. KK Arnold has the ability to lead this UConn Huskies team. I have no doubt in my mind. But when you talk about veteran leadership, like you just pointed out, and the way Azzi plays the game, you might not get a lot of points out of her as for any player, but I don't think that you can pinpoint a lot of players in this country who has the ability to put games on their back when you least expect it. And again, against number 4 South Carolina in February, what she did to me, kind of, sort of. Now I know she has what it takes, but that was very. I mean, to you, I'm asking you, was it unexpected? Because obviously, with the injuries, I think that played a big part in it. We don't really know where we're getting out of Azzi Fudd, day in and day out. Because sometimes a little bit quiet, other times bursting onto the scene, like ESPN says, right? 28 points against South Carolina. So Ryan, when you take that, bottle it all up, I think next season she has the potential to change this, ball club, make them even better than what they are now. I'm just a little bit concerned if she does not stay.
Yeah, I think for the team perspective, it definitely is a little concerning if she does decide to leave. But, I do agree with kind of the outbursts and performances, and maybe it does have to do with, so many of the injuries she's had to deal with. But, I think she's been pretty consistent here the past couple games. But, the game at South Carolina, I don't think it was unexpected because, when Azzi's on, she's on, and she does like to show up in these big time games. You talk about the couple of games versus Tennessee that she's had, and now against South Carolina. But hopefully, going into this March, whatever her decision is, hopefully she can really, really provide UConn with a lot of scoring. I'm definitely expecting her to do that for this team because, like I said, when Azzi's on, she's on, and we've seen it a couple of times this year. Maybe a slow start in the first half, but the third and fourth quarter, I mean, she can go off for 25 points and hit 6 3-pointers in one quarter. And it's just those outburst performances that it's hard to find in any other player that can just, when she sees one basket go in, one 3-pointer go in, it's just multiple, and it keeps on growing pretty quickly after that.
2019 Gatorade National Player of the Year. Again, we're talking about Azzi Fudd today on Listen Up. Ryan, so this message is for Azzi Fudd and her family. Please stay. All right. Ryan will be praying every night on his knees, right, Ryan? Hey, let's go over to comments very quickly. One more thing. You talk about development. I mean, it's a shame, right? Because injuries will set you back, no doubt. And you just wonder how much better, how much more of a star performance that we would have seen from her if it wouldn't have been for them setbacks, them injury setbacks. Her, again, some of her strengths, Ryan, include the defense, like you pointed out, right, and the shooting. We already mentioned all year pretty much. I think it was what Iowa State. They had that one great 3-point shooting performance against them that night. But other than that, I mean, Ryan, where is the 3-point shooting? I believe that this team has to step it up, especially with the tournament coming right around the corner. But Fudd is a clutch 3-point shooter, right? And
Yeah.
she can score from a lot of places on the floor. So again, when you take that away, if you take that away next season, oh man, I'm not so sure where it comes from. Let's go over to comments very quickly, Ryan. Again, just me said another good recap, Ryan. It was a good game to end the regular season for UConn. Now it's tourney time, and UConn seems to be ready.
Yeah, here we go. I think everybody's ready. I know we are for tournament time. It's obviously going to get really exciting. Of course, the Big East tournament that begins, of course, for UConn on Saturday. Early game, 12 o'clock. So, yeah, I think if we can get through this Big East tournament, it's going to be interesting to see what seed UConn comes out with in the March Madness bracket. I think one seed is definitely a possibility, but it's always exciting to see all the different seeds, what the bracket's going to look like. So, yeah, it's going to get fun.
How about Jason D'Amico said there's still work to be done. That is what I'm telling myself. So not to get emotional. Peace.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I think there's just a couple things that the team really has to lock in on, and one of those is the 3-point shooting. It can be kind of lackluster at times, but I think throughout the tournament, March Madness tournament, it's going to be really important for them to really hone in on the 3-point shooting and on the opposite end defending the 3-point shot because that's really killed them in a couple of these games as well for this season.
I'll throw two different ones at you, Ryan. First was HB Aquarium. Thanks for coming through. And then we have Brorick said one says think Aubrey started because it's senior day, but the offense looks better with her in the starting lineup. And then Brorick says Aubrey is an amazing offensive rebounder. The team that usually wins the offensive rebounds generally wins the game. She should move into the starting lineup. Yeah, Ryan. I mean, Aubrey is an amazing offensive rebounder. You said it over and over this season.
Yeah, I don't really disagree with any of those. Like I said, it's going to be interesting to see what the starting lineup is for the Big East tournament, whether Aubrey does continue to start. Maybe she did just start because of senior day, but it's weird because UConn usually thrives in the smaller lineups. That's usually what Gino always goes to for most of his years coaching UConn. It's been a lot of years, but usually it's the smaller lineups that usually prevail for Gino. So we'll just have to see. But I think the offense obviously looked pretty good with Aubrey in there. So I think either way, I think the team's looking pretty good.
All right. We appreciate everybody. Like, comment, and subscribe. Ryan, we'll update him right now. No more last check ins for the Big East tournament. And we will be right back here on Saturday. But before that, another episode on Thursday. Can't wait to see what the topic is. And again, leave your comments in the comment section below. Will Azzi Fudd return to UConn for 25-26 season? Phil and Ryan on Listen Up.